Hi there, it's Kelly, your tech savvy business mentor, and welcome to another Tech Talk. This week, we're talking with Edrina Calderon, and she's going to be telling us all about why she loves Asana. So stick around. Hey, Edrina, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing really well. First thing I want to do is just kind of like have you give our audience a little bit of an understanding of what is your business, what do you do?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your channel. I really appreciate it. So I have my own accounting and bookkeeping virtual business. So what that means is I work with a lot of small businesses, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, even some individuals, and I help them with their bookkeeping month to month and anything extra that they might need. So anything as far as payables or receivables. I also have to work with my nonprofit clients when they're doing their annual audit. So that is also a lot of work that keeps me busy. And so that's kind of like the bulk of my business. That's where the revenue comes from. On the side, I I also have my own YouTube channel where I talk a lot about QuickBooks, not YouTube. On YouTube, I talk about QuickBooks and kind of like teach over there, like how to use QuickBooks, how to do bookkeeping. I also talk a little bit about business, kind of like my perspective of business and things like that. So that's kind of like the bulk of what I do.
Awesome. Awesome. But let's go ahead and just reveal what your favorite tech tool is that you're going to be using. So we all know if we watch anything on this channel that I'm a Trello fanatic, but there are other options out there in the world. I fully acknowledge that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your favorite?
Yes. So if anyone has seen my channel, you very well know that Asana is my go-to tool. I actually use it every day. I consider it part of my brain. I allow it to do some of the thinking for me, so I don't have to do the thinking. And so that is not only do I do that, not only do I use Asana for my business, but I also use it for anything else, like when it comes to planning. So YouTube, social media, paying my bills, some of my like household tasks. I've even used it for some personal tasks. So, I mean, it just houses a lot of information. And the cool thing is I'm using the free version. Like I haven't paid one dime for this at all. I also have like team members that help me with my business. So I've got a couple of subcontractor bookkeepers. I have an online business manager, and I also have a creative manager, and we're all in Asana every day. And this is one of the ways, like one of the tools that I like about Asana is the fact that I can assign tasks, and those tasks can be recurring tasks on a monthly, weekly, daily basis, whatever the case may be. And so within those tasks, I actually write down, like if there's a specific way to do something, I can actually write down step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. I can put in like, here's the login, here's the URL, here's the Google Doc associated with this task. And so it's just a really easy way to manage any kind of process flow, especially for bookkeeping. It is a very kind of like, we do the same thing over and over again. I mean, like every day is a little bit different, but the main tasks are pretty much the same. And so it's easy just to reassign those tasks or to reassign the due date or based on like whatever information comes in from the client. So if I need to change something, it's super easy to change. It's super easy to tag someone in that task. And I have the cell phone app. So when someone tags me and says, hey, Edrina, do you have, such and such document yet from the client? I get it as a notification on my phone as if someone's texting me. So even if I'm not at my desk looking at Asana, like I will get it out and about if I'm, making lunch or on a walk or whatever the case may be, running an errand. And I can still be in contact with the team through the app on my phone. So I just threw a lot at you right there because I feel like I can go on and on and on and on and on, but I'll stop there. And if you have any other questions, you want to like take a deep dive into anything else, like feel free.
No, I love that because well, first off, the first thing that you said that I 100% resonate with, only with Trello instead of Asana, but same difference, is that yes, it's an extension of my brain. I think that's something that people that don't use a tool like that yet don't quite understand, right?
Yeah.
Like I know that there are some people who love like pen and paper and post-it notes, and I totally understand that. There's a time and place. I mean, I still have my notebooks and stuff. I'm gonna jot things down here and there, right?
Right.
But a pen and paper, a notepad cannot think for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like 100%. That's like the one thing. And I'm so glad you put it that way, because any of these tools, I mean, they often get called like project management tools, but I think that is so like the tip of the iceberg. Like it's so misadvertised because there's so much more than that. I have yet to use a project management tool that can't do like a million more things.
Right.
Project management. But I guess that's like the best way to explain it. Because how do you say like, hey, use this tool? It's a part of your brain. Like you can't, you can't advertise it that way.
You're so right. Like I am barely scratching the tip of the iceberg because so I'm using the free version. If I were to choose to pay for this, I would have like way more bells and whistles. I'm not that big of an organization that needs all of the bells and whistles right now. So like, it's really nice to know that that is an option too in the future if I do decide to, expand my business.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I'm the same way with Trello, is that I'm still on the free, but I kind of like I have that argument with myself every once in a while, like, oh, maybe I should just upgrade a little, because it's so affordable. And I'm sure Asana is the same way, right? Where like the next level, it's like kind of like the gateway drug, right? It's like, here, this first part's totally free. And then for just $5 a month, you could do, and then $5 more. And I could end up paying $50 a month, but by the time I realized what I did.
Yeah.
But so one thing that I'm curious about, because almost everything that you described is similar in Trello, and I figured they would be, because I mean, it's the basics of how the tool works. Mm-hmm. So, and I know that there's some automation in Asana. I'm not super familiar with how robust it is. Have you delved into the automation side a lot? And like, besides the recurring task, which you already mentioned, like what kind of things can you and do you automate?
Oh, yeah. So we've barely scratched the surface on this one as well. But one of the things that we have automated, so we use like Zapier. I don't know if you've talked about Zapier as well.
A little bit here and there. Yeah.
So we set up a Zap where if someone goes to book a discovery call on my Calendly link, it will automatically create a task for me on the day that they signed up to have the discovery call. So that is already set up. And then the information that I need comes through in that task. So I think that's really nice. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other features that I don't necessarily use, and I don't need to use them, but I can certainly understand why people would use them. For example, each board, consider that board like, well, okay, let me just tell you about the structure really quick. So there's team, and then there's project. In project, there's a board. So like, for example, team could be like social media and YouTube or something like that. And I would only invite, people that are related to those things to that team project board. Under that, I could have YouTube, social media, Facebook, whatever else, like as their own projects. And each of those projects, I call them boards. I could send from my email, I can send a email to Asana, and it will automatically create a task with that information from the email. So I can see like why that would be beneficial to automate like certain things like that. But I don't necessarily use that. But the feature that I like the most is the recurring tasks, because every month, well, let's just start off like every week, I'm going to want to look in QuickBooks and categorize transactions for my clients. Like that is a very basic thing that we do on a weekly basis. So we set that up to whichever bookkeeper is working on that account as a recurring weekly task. And then it just reminds us every week to do that thing. And so like I consider that, like if it's due on that particular day, let's say it was Tuesday, then you have up until Tuesday to get it done, basically. So that's kind of like how we manage those tasks. So yeah, I think those are like some of the like major automated ones that I can think of right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the automation that you're talking about, besides the like repetitive recurring task thing, which is like resetting the due date or recreating a new card every week or however you set it up. And then the other you talked about was using a third-party tool, Zapier, which we have talked about on the channel, but don't talk about a ton. Is there, besides like a recurring task, is there internal, like doesn't require a third party, other automation, other things that you could do within Asana? Like for an example, one of the things that I do within Trello is, I'm trying to think of one that's not just based on a recurring thing, because I do a lot of that. But like for example, my like moving things around within the structure of the board. Okay. So we have boards in the same way. You have teams, we have workspaces, and then projects, boards, same concept, right? And so within that board, I have lists, which would be like columns on a spreadsheet, and then the cards being like the cells, right? Or the rows, however you want to look at it. And I can set something up so that if I have put a specific label on it, like I've already scheduled that video in YouTube and it's due, it's going to release on this day at this time, then when that day and time hits and it has that scheduled label on it, it's going to automatically move it from scheduled videos over to posted videos. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's interesting. So the functionality is a little bit different from Trello in the sense that like we mark it complete when that task is done. Okay. So there's probably like what you're talking about, cards. There are open cards and those aren't complete until I check it off as marked complete. And then it goes into the complete section. So there's like a section for incomplete and there's a section for complete.
Okay. And how much customization can you do within that? Is it standard how it's out of the box? Or could you create an extra section if you wanted like an in progress section or something like that?
You can definitely do that. That is something that we don't do right now. But you can definitely do that. For example, like, when my online business manager is scheduling quarterly meetings, she sends out the initial email, when is good for you. And she can mark that in progress. So I can see that she's marked it in progress. So I know like, okay, that's outstanding. The client just needs to get back to her.
Got it. Okay. So it's kind of like you can put like a status or a checkbox or something that does that. Okay.
Yeah. And you can add like different labels and things like that. And I think, after a certain point, it's like a little too much because you're like, well, this is a really busy task.
Right. Depends, especially like for some of mine, I label them on like a category because I want to be able to filter by that or something. There's multiple ways you can do these things and all these different tools. So plus I like the colors, although to be honest, and I'm going to say something negative about Trello, and I don't think I've ever done that on this channel, but I'm going to. They just changed the colors of the labels. Like, and I understand why they're doing it, because they only used to have like 10 colors or something, and they're trying to expand it so that you can have more labels with different colors. I get that, but they are so ugly. Oh, they're so ugly. And it's really a problem for me because I'm so about the aesthetic of how it's really bothering me, but that's okay.
I totally get it.
I'm trying to get past it and move on because they're working it out. They'll figure it out, because I know I'm not alone in that. I'm not alone in that. Well, this has been so much fun. Like, honestly, I could talk to you about this for hours. I could ask you a
Agreed.
million questions.
Agreed.
And maybe we'll do that offline at some point, because I would love to learn more and more about it. But yeah, I mean, I think this is just further proof that there are so many options.
Yes.
This concept of like, oh, you have to use this one tool because I use it and I love it is kind of crap.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
sure, check it out, especially if it's free. Give it a try because you might love it too. But if you don't, it's okay, because there's probably 5 to 10 other options that are free that do the same basic thing and might think a little bit more the way that you do, or just be more appealing, you know?
Yeah, actually, one of the like biggest pieces of advice that I offer to clients is like, find what works for you. And that can mean a whole slew of different things. It's like, if this credit card processing system doesn't work for you, then find something that does. Because my main goal is to like make your life easier. And so why would you be using something that doesn't work for you? So definitely, like, especially when it comes to project management systems, there's like tons out there, and find what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. I love hearing about Asana. I've been so excited to hear about it, and you just piqued my curiosity even more. So now I want to just go play in my account and see what else it can do. So thanks so much. And yeah, we'll catch up soon.
All right. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, I mean, I think we'll tag my channel in the description box below so you can find me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to tag her channel, and we're going to put a link to Asana, because even if you're not going to fall in love with Trello like me, I want you to find a tool that's going to work well for you. So we will put that in the description as well.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks. And if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. The online tools for your business do not need to be complicated or overwhelming. It's time to let it be easy.